I am a huge fan of Magic the Gathering. I've played the game digitally and on paper for years. I've sold a ton of it since I worked at a local game store. I worked a lot of pre-release weekends, and my collection for this game is massive now. So when I heard that Magic Legends was going into open beta and the open beta finally came out for people to test, I was actually pretty excited to download it, test it out, maybe even stream it a couple of times to show it off to people. And I was thinking that it was going to release and it had a lot of potential. This is a giant game with tons of different options that they could go with for worlds and classes and just characters in general. But when it came out, I was very, very disappointed to see what the actual product was. It is filled with mediocre combat, tons of bugs and glitches, and the worst part of all, a very predatory microtransaction system that I just can't get behind at all, no matter how much I love Magic the Gathering. When a game is fun and unique, sometimes I think that we can all admit that we look past bad microtransaction systems, but it's games like this that literally just want to suck consumers' wallets dry and don't actually care about the experience that they have with the game. So I'm going to be referencing a PC Gamer article. Magic Legends Open Beta takes a beating over monetization and frame rate issues. This is so disheartening to see. I was really, really hoping that this was going to come out. It was going to be at least decent, but it really, really isn't. So opinions on its combat and deck system aren't all highly positive either. One of the top posts on the Magic Legends subreddit is titled "Fastest Uninstall of My Life," which isn't the sort of reaction the free-to-play action RPG was looking for during its first week in open beta. Perhaps even worse, popular commentator and streamer Sean Plott, aka Day9, who's big in the Magic the Gathering arena scene, called Legends awful after briefly live streaming it. There are a ton of content creators right now who I've seen played it the first day it launched, and then literally said, I'm uninstalling it. I don't want to waste my time with this. I just can't get behind this game. It says there are positive comments out there too, but what seemed like an exciting launch has quickly turned turbulent. It's very hit or miss for a lot of people. There are some people who have played it and said, wow, for a beta, this game is really good. I can't wait to see how it's going to actually officially release. But there are tons of people out there who are super unimpressed with it, saying things like "fastest uninstall of my life." So I want to head over to the Reddit just to show you all one of the top comments. The initial post was "fastest uninstall of my life." Got in, finished the first area, opened the store, saw a literal class locked behind booster packs and uninstalled. Disappointed, but not surprised. Pretty obvious cash grab. There are a lot of people right now saying things like the performance was an insta uninstall for me. I can easily run The Witcher 3 on ultra graphics with 60 plus FPS, but on this game I get stutters and about 20 FPS. Someone said, I finally had time and am watching the opening cinematic. What the hell even is this? The voice acting is laughable and the graphics are really iffy. All of the face options look Neanderthal-esque. Who greenlit this for open beta? I really agree with this. The opening cinematic actually wasn't the worst in my opinion. I've definitely seen a lot of games that their cinematics are really, really cheesy and bad, but I think that the voice acting is really mediocre, just not that good. I think that it did run at least really terribly for me personally, but continuing on, it says, putting aside Day9's design criticisms for the moment, dominating the conversation right now are three big complaints. The complicated currency system, there are 13 distinct resources, monetization, and performance issues. So the biggest pain point is that the Dimir Assassin class, which is the top tier random drop from booster packs that each cost about $3 worth of premium Zen currency, the class can also be purchased with in-game gold, but players report that the price is so enormous they'd have to grind for eons to afford it. I really hate when games do this, make you grind for eons to get an item, and I am glad that they not only have the swipe your credit card option to get this class, but you can also get it with in-game currency that you earn by just playing the game. But a huge problem here is that the price is so big that you'd have to grind a ton for it. If you're going to make it so that people can get an item by playing the game, at least make it affordable, make it easier for players to get. Don't put some giant number on it that's really, really unlikely a player's going to grind for. It makes people want to uninstall. It doesn't keep people interested in your game. And for me personally, I see it as just a way to manipulate people into swiping their credit card, which isn't the type of game or company that I want to support. So it says a different in-game resource, Aether, can be traded for Zen in a player-driven marketplace, so there is another grindy way to get booster packs without paying real money. It's also noteworthy that the Demir Assassin is currently the only locked class, and there are 5 free classes unlocked from the start. I am glad that they gave quite a few options for free unlocked classes at the start, but the best character, of course, is hidden behind a paywall that you'd have to swipe your credit card for, or grind tons and tons of hours in the game for. It says if you're the sort who cares about what a free-to-play game offers up front, then what you can acquire as you go, the Demir Assassin may be a non-issue. It continues on with saying, even putting the Demir Assassin aside, though, the Magic Legends monetization system is a bit much. Along with cosmetic items, the store contains boosts and services like character renaming and new deck slots for about $5 each. Plus, there's a battle pass with 2 premium tiers, $10 and $25. And there are also daily limits on resource gathering, an unpopular convention, and fairly so. I dislike when games do this. They make it so that you get a maximum amount of resources a day, basically forcing you to come back day by day. If I want to play 20 hours in a game in a day, I should be able to collect as many resources as I want, so that the next day, if I don't want to play, I don't have to. It's just this cycle of getting people to come back to your game daily. I understand that most games have battle passes at this point, and I can maybe understand a $10 battle pass if it's just cosmetic items and there are other ways to earn the cosmetic items, but a $25 battle pass is a bit much, at least in my opinion. And then you have things like character renaming and deck slots for about $5 each. There are so many ways to swipe your credit card in this game, and the unfortunate part about it is the fact that a lot of this stuff you can't get by just, spending in-game currency and by just playing the game. You have to swipe your credit card for things like the premium tiers, the battle passes, the $10, the $25, character renaming. You have to swipe your credit card. They're not giving you these options to just play the game the way you want to play it and earn the items, you might want at some point. It continues on into performance. Players are reporting frame rate problems, and I've experienced some stuttering as well as choppiness due to network lag and occasional glitchy movement. The opening cinematic is quite rough too, with rigid-looking characters whose lips are out of sync with their goofy dialogue. I didn't think that the opening cutscene cinematically was bad. I think that it could have been good if the characters looked better, if the voice acting was a little bit better, if just everything lined up. I feel like it was so rushed to be put together that it wasn't polished at all. And again, it's an open beta, so they definitely want feedback and they have a lot of work to go. But it unfortunately isn't even close to being done. This game should not be an open beta right now. It says it is in beta, but it's tough to make allowances on that basis when the game is already slinging loot box equivalents in premium battle pass tiers. This is a huge issue for me. If you are going to put your game into open beta, okay, that's fine. It obviously deserves to be criticized because you are releasing it for everyone to see, but if you expect people to open their wallets, to buy loot boxes, to buy battle passes, your game should be in a much better place than it is right now. It should at least be playable, and for a lot of people with 20 FPS and choppiness, the game isn't playable at all, yet you expect people to buy your garbage loot boxes and your premium battle passes. It continues on to say, based on the early game, Day 9 had an even harsher take on the system. He said it's not that the game lacks interesting decisions, it just lacks decisions. I hit my buttons on cooldown, I don't manage mana, there was no point in the first 3 hours that I managed mana, period. I really think that the current implementation of the deck and how that works in combat feels like an anti-system. It just feels like it hurts the gameplay rather than creating something new and cool and fun. I definitely agree with this. I feel like the deck system is a cool idea and a unique concept. It just wasn't implemented properly, and it makes everything confusing and feel really, just really bizarre. It just doesn't add enough to the game itself. This game has nothing in it to make you say, wow, I really want to download this game and play it, besides the fact that it's Magic Legends, and there's not a ton of other games coming out right now. We heard about Magic Legends a couple of months ago, and I had pointed out that it's a Perfect World game, and I definitely think that that's a giant problem here, because Perfect World is a Chinese video game company, so ultimately blood and gore and all of those things will be toned down, but they don't have a history of making good games, unfortunately. The games that they've created consist of Remnant from the Ashes, Star Trek Online, and Neverwinter's MMO. All very mediocre games that are free to play, meaning they're filled to the brim with microtransactions, and they unfortunately run very poorly as well. It's unfortunate that we could have gotten a good Magic game, yet we didn't. We got this garbage microtransaction mess that everyone's gonna abandon in a few weeks. But let everyone know your thoughts on the game in the comment section down below. Do you think it looks cool? Did you test it, or did you decide to pass on it? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.